I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Let's start right out with the approval of minutes. Does anyone have any comments, any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I have a motion to accept. Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's go right into resolutions. Resolution 1, authorizing budgetary modifications, Department of Community Development, Tourism and Planning, snowmobile trail grants. Motion?
I'll move it.
Second? Okay, basically, this is money we're simply a pass-through. It's a yearly thing. The state sends us this year $347,379. We divide it up to the 10 clubs, give it out so that they can maintain. Now, is it true that that money, Bill, is the registration fees?
Yes.
Yes. So that's money basically that they've already given to the state sends it back to us, and we give it out. So any discussion?
If I could just give a couple updates.
Absolutely.
So we did have our annual meeting with the Snowmobile Club presidents here. We do that right before winter every year. This year we only ended up with 6 of the 10 clubs. Previously we've had all 10 clubs here. So it was a little bit of a bad weather day. So a little surprised they didn't come. But we had some really good updates. Overall, I don't remember last year, about this time we talked about it, and we had said that because of the 2 previous years being almost no snow, many of our clubs were considering shuttering it up. It just wasn't, nobody was signing up for the registrations. The state was very concerned because you were right, the money that we get from this comes out of the registrations statewide. So we don't keep Oswego's registrations. All of the people who register in Oswego go into the giant state pot, and then they pay us out based on how many miles of the trail we have. And so we have, I think, second most, I don't remember if that's exactly right, but we have obviously a substantial number of trails, and so we get a large portion. And in fact, we get more from the state than we actually sell here in Oswego County. We're one of the few counties that do actually become subsidized because we have so many trails. Also, we have a lot of people who buy their stickers somewhere else and still come up here and ride, so it really isn't, I think, a great example, but that's how the state does it.
Okay.
Also, we have a huge increase, 31% increase in statewide snowmobiles registered last year, obviously over the year before. Now, we talked about it was a bad year, but it is coming back. So our clubs had indicated that after last year being a really good year, they're encouraged again. The restaurants that are along the trails that had some concerns are also doing much better this year. So, and also we are getting an increase in funds. They are giving us more money per mile than they had in previous years. So all good news.
Is it a percentage, so many dollars per mile? Or?
Yeah, they give us a rate, and it's based off some internal calculation that they do. But it has to do with how much fund balance. They're not allowed. The state's not allowed to use that money for anything else either. And so that's what we do.
Excellent. Anyone have any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay. Yes, I just saw. Let's see. EP2, resolutions establishing an architect and engineer of record for the Southern Oswego County Regional Interceptor Sewer Project. So, Chris, motion? Second? Okay. What this is, from my understanding, and then I'll ask for more information, we had 2 proposals that came in. Both of them were good, but one of them was someone that was an engineering firm that was here right from the get-go. So they were ones helping us with the funding and going to the public, and they actually are representing all 5 of the municipalities that Silvers is going through, and that's B&L. So this and B&L will take care of public outreach, stakeholder communication, funding, startup operations, and assistance. Anybody have questions about accepting B&L as our engineer for Silvers?
And I think another important part here, this does not come with funding. We're just appointing an engineer of record. So when we do deal with, and we have been dealing with the funding agencies, with the governor's office and all the other places, we can identify who they can talk to talk about the technical information.
You have somebody on record to be able to do that, so it's not like, okay.
Yeah, this itself does not create funding.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Passed. EP3, resolution awarding professional service contract for the manufactured housing community inventory and study.
Thank you.
Motion,
Move
second? Second. Okay, what this is an inventory of the manufactured homes in Oswego County. It's not just an inventory, it is a study to develop the information, and the grant that we're going for $50,000, because you have to have a consultant that gets us data, makes a study out of it, so that then you can apply for repair to mobile homes. You can, from community spaces within a mobile home park. So it's no cost to us. It's a grant that we're getting, and it's basically getting the information to see if we can help mobile homes throughout the county. Right.
I did call and get a lot of good information from the office. And my one question though, this will include septic and sewer. Septic.
The inventory will include, the services of each park and what they're, if they're public or private, and which realm it falls into, so.
So if, let's just say, a private park is not in compliance, is it up to the owner to bring it into compliance, or?
You're saying to receive the grant funds in the future round? Because again, these funds are not going to.
No, I know, we're
Okay.
gonna do an inventory.
So for the future.
I understand the inventory, yes.
Well,
There's certain parks that fall under Department of Health regulations. They rise to a different level than your average septic system. And the health department has a list of those, and they work with them continuously to make sure that they're in compliance. So if they're out of compliance now, that will be noted in the study that of this date they were out of compliance, because they're going to have, well, if they do it like I think they'll do it, they'll inventory by size and number of mobile home parks, and then by services they'll also include if it's public, private, if it's, how far away sewer would be. The idea is to know what's out there, because mobile home parks are typically dense in nature, and it would be good to know where they are in reference to future infrastructure, because you're going to want to be able to hook them into that for both public service and quality of life, that kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
so basically what you're saying is if somebody's not in compliance, whose responsibility?
So
But
this
you've got the
is a
health
good
department.
program, this is it.
Yes, it'll so noted that you are out of compliance. That could help with the health department as well. Would be able to know that, okay, these guys are not in compliance.
Well, the health department does cite them, but, it takes a long time for them to get to a point where they would be suing the mobile home park owner to become in compliance. So this is kind of the positive way, get the information out, and then they know what it will cost them to hook in. They can make the whole thing work, and it helps with providing density for the infrastructure itself. So.
One
Working
of
with
the
Mark.
trickier pieces on it is that it's not mandatory either. That's the hard part. Like there are probably some parks we'd love to assist, but potentially if they're not participating, there's only so much we can do. They're still privately owned.
And right now, we don't actually know how many mobile home parks are in Oswego County, because mobile home park, according to different rules, is 3 or more units. So some folks have 3 units on their property, and they're not registered with the Office of Management and Budget with New York State. So they should be, but they come up in real property as 210s, and so the study will help clear that up. And some people they would benefit from having that information and being able to apply themselves for, upgrades to their septic system or their units.
It'll also identify abandoned units.
Right. We've already
Derelict
had some of that.
That's
yeah.
nice to have with them.
Yeah.
Roy?
And so, do you know if the study will take a look at any records of previous violations?
No, they're not getting into, it's everything current now, it's just an inventory, and we're not focusing on the violations of the parks, we're focusing on what's out there, where it is, how many, and what's the condition overall. There will be a assessment, I think, I mean, we wrote it in the RFP, an assessment of if it's substandard or not, and there's a criteria that they'll go by.
So just to follow up on that, so will they be talking to code enforcement officers?
I believe they probably will be, because there's a section written in the RFP that, you have to kind of give an overview of what the current laws are, because each town has its own view on mobile home parks and that kind of thing, and what's grandfathered in, what's not. So they're gonna give an overall view, because a mobile home park in some towns is 5 or more units, and, you know, there's all different numbers, so it's gonna be good information, because nobody, I mean, just think about how many mobile home parks you think are in the county, and
I think there's a lot more than we think.
there's a lot more than you think.
All right, does anybody have any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Passed. EP4, resolution, excuse me, authorizing budgetary modification Department of Workforce Development for closeout of summer youth employment program for 2025. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, what they're doing is, at this point, using from salaries and wages that you are transferring $18,500 within the budget due to increased interest that the kids showed this year, and so we want to be able to cover it all. Do you have anything to add?
No, this was just with the closeout of our final claim to the state, and we ended up out of, how much money did we have? about $460,000. We only left about $17,000 on the table with the state, which is pretty good. Because we over budget, the kids just, they don't work all their hours, is what it comes down to. But yeah, we had close to 200 kids that we served, so it was, just trying to balance the budget and make sure everybody's covered.
Okay. Right?
How many did that increase from years back?
So since I started, which 2020 was the first summer I did it, we've been barely hitting 100 kids. We were able to do, we had 240 applications come through. Not all the kids they don't all finish their application, so we can't place them. But also with the investment from the county, we're able to offer more kids summer positions. So between the state funding and the ARPA funding that we had, we were able to serve 200 kids this year, which 200 is back to what it was years ago, probably 10 to 15 years ago. But with the state money, it's been increasing a little bit each year, but not enough to cover the increase in minimum wage either. So that's what we're balancing.
I'm not, I'm not concerned about how much money we're spending on it. I'm just, I want to see how much, how many kids, because I can remember transporting kids to, to the summer work programs, stuff like that. And, always great. Everybody, a lot of kids, well, I'd rather do this and make money and stuff like that. So I'm glad that we've got more coming. Hopefully it'll stay that way. That's kind of what we need, because we need the youth to get into that work ethic.
Absolutely.
And then what they do is they get out when they're adults and they start making more money and they start enjoying it. They have money to spend. So thank you, great job again.
I will say this was definitely the best behaved year that we've had too. I think we actually only had to fire 2 kids, and it was because they didn't come to their job. It wasn't disciplinary by any means, which was really good.
There's one other question. I probably asked it before, but who remember? I can't remember that far back. The Mount Edna in Fulton, they used to have an awful lot. And as of late, I haven't been seeing the number that they used to have. Is it they're not asking, or is there an issue there with being able to do it for them?
So there's 2 pieces of that. There used to be a group that was coming from DSS to their adults. and doing the program. They stopped the program that they were doing with work placements there, but I know we've been working with Gidget to get that back going. But what we have to be careful there with minors is because Mount Edna will take adults that have criminal records that can't be around under 18. So with the summer program, we haven't been getting a lot of 18 plus because there's jobs out there
Right.
that they can get. So we can't place our kids there.
Okay, good enough, thank you. Keep
Yeah.
up the good work, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. EP5, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Workforce Development for continued operations. Motion? Second?
Second.
Okay, this is transfer within budget again of $100,000, and this is for scholarships for LPN. And then this is great, but some of it is, money is coming from the staff, or no, it's an increase, I believe, in the cost of retirement and social security, and so.
Just throughout the year with the change in staff that we had.
Catching at that.
Yeah, but then, a lot of the money just moving from what we had budgeted earlier in the year, coming from support costs or on-the-job training into our tuition for LPN, because we funded 18, I believe it is, with City BOCES program that started early November.
You know the numbers as to whether, did they all graduate, or
They just started in November.
they just started?
Yeah,
Okay.
they just started. They'll finish, they just moved the program, so I think it's gonna go till August of next year.
That's excellent, though. We need nurses desperately.
Yes.
Any other questions for Rachel regarding this? No? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passed. All right, 6, EP6, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Department of Workforce Development, acceptance of funds for Oswego build. Motion, second, and this is contribution from Constellation for $15,000,
Yes.
and it came from Center State CEO, helped to get it.
It's passing through there, yes.
Yes, and so they get the administrative fee.
Yep.
Of $750, but then you get $14,250.
Yep, and we're using that money, so our Oswego Build cohort that just finished, a couple weeks ago, and then our cohort that's starting mid-January, we're using the Constellation funding to supply a bucket of tools, for each participant that we're working with Rabies to get, for them. And then also for the Build project, which this past cohort was the Shed out at Camp Hollis. We haven't figured out a project yet for this next one, since it might have to be done indoors in February, so.
I love the idea that this money is basically union trades. Yes, and I love the way they say to get a job that is a family-sustaining wage. This isn't just to get people into minimum, it's a family-sustaining wage,
Yeah,
which is
with
great.
union jobs.
Those union jobs. Yay, trade.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? Passed. EP7, resolution authorizing approval of local workforce development board realignment in accordance with the New York State priorities. Motion? Second? Okay.
Whatever you got.
This, as I understand, is to realign the county workforce boards. They wanted to make it a little bit more efficient because we've got ones for each county, so now they're trying to realign them. And I believe Cayuga was with Tompkins, right? Cortland, and they've separated them, and now Cayuga will be with us, which gives us a little strength that we won't be gobbled up by Onondaga County.
Okay.
Yes, I think it's a great move. But we stay the lead agent, Oswego?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we would stay, as the grant recipient for the funding. It doesn't cut our WIOA funding at all. I mean, any cuts are coming, what's coming down from the Fed and the state, but, none of the Oswego County funds would be going to Cayuga County. They still get their own funding. It would just, we are the pass-through, so Cayuga County would be a sub-recipient of Oswego County. They're used to it because right now they're a sub-recipient of Portland County. What the state is looking to do right now, there's 33 workforce development boards around the state, and they don't see with the cuts that the federal government is doing that they can sustain the administrative costs of that many boards. So this is happening in the capital region right now, where Columbia Green Workforce Development Board is being sucked up by capital region, which is already 4 counties. But what's happening with Cortland Cayuga is the director there is retiring in June. So they're being able at this point to separate that workforce development board, have Cortland County hopefully go with Tompkins County, and then Cayuga County come under us here, and eliminating a director position without actually eliminating somebody's job. So that's what they're looking to do slowly as this is happening across the state, but they have said that within 4 or 5 years, they're probably going to come around and force some of this to happen too. So at this point, we at least have a say in how it's happening, which is also a benefit. And I believe I did put in the support documentation here, we already with Cayuga County share 4 different workforce development board members between our Department of Labor representative, Cayuga Community College, our Access VR representative, and also Keith Titus Corporation Page Trucking as a business. That's in both counties as well. Also, our union representation that we have on the board covers both counties.
So basically, well, one thing, plan or be planned, and that's what we're doing it now. And basically, it's the federal government that cutting funds has made us become more efficient.
Yeah.
Okay. Any comments regarding this? Roy?
So I see a lot of benefits. Do you see any downside? Is this going to cause more work in the office, or?
From what I can see, I mean, up front, it's going to be smarter because we have to take our board policies and we have to be under the same policy. So it's taking Cayuga County and ours and finding synergy there and doing a little maneuver in the makeup of the board, whether we make it bigger and just bring Cayuga County reps, or I have some people leaving in the next couple months, so if we bring them on. But overall, going forward, the additional work is really, it would fall on myself and my accountant. There's more money, which means work processing of that, and then doing subrecipient monitoring of Cayuga County on my end.
You see it as a lot of extra work, or?
No. It's still one board.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions for each? Hearing none, those in favor? Opposed? Passed. EB8, resolution authorizing budgetary modification accepting funds from New York State DOT 2025 DOH. 800, okay, a motion, second. All right, getting $851,539 from New York State DOT. This is an annual thing?
Yes and no. They tell us every year that we're not getting it. We received the payment in April, and then we received this payment later in the year. So they did give us 24-25, and this is our 25-26.
Okay. So it's just accepting money from the state?
Yes.
All right, does anybody have any questions about that? Hearing none, all those in favor? Well, I'm sorry, Frank?
But I don't know if it relates to that or not, but I went to the meeting for Central, them cutting the routes.
Yeah, separate, completely separate on that.
Okay, okay. All right. And if it's separate, then I'll ask you afterwards.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Okay. EP9. Everybody have a copy of it?
Paul, do you have a copy?
Okay. Resolution authorizing budgetary modifications, Department of Workforce Development for continued operation support service. Motion,
Move it.
second? All right, let's see, I don't know if I've even had a chance. Rachel, you want to explain this?
Yeah, it's the movement of $40,000 within the budget. So again, there's 3 different budgetary modifications here because we have 3 different accounts for the department. So this is just, again, balancing out. So we've got enough money in the salary and wages line from what was originally budgeted. This is coming from salaries and wages to on-the-job training. I was reading it backwards. So basically, we've just had more on-the-job training contracts with businesses this year than we originally budgeted for.
Okay, but nobody's getting hurt, all the services were able to go with
No,
this movement?
Just changes in personnel, there was extra money in that line, so.
Frank?
Who did we, I mean, I think it's a great, it's a great
For the
program.
businesses,
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
I love to see it, because we used to see a lot of them at Price Chapel where the kids would be going around with their trainer and, helping them stock things, move stuff around.
yeah, so these are the adults. So,
Okay.
so these folks are hired full-time, so we're helping, with up to 50% wage reimbursement for the business for taking a chance on somebody and hiring them. We have added, Leroy Manufacturing here in Oswego. They've actually been pretty steady, having one or two, at all times. Majestic Mold in Phoenix, has been a new business. We just had somebody else. Oh, Little Loops has a child care assistant too. So we always do a lot with Pathfinder Bank and Felix Scholler, but we've added some other businesses and other businesses that have been working with our youth paid work experience program, but then have hired on folks too and have taken advantage of on-the-job training for other hires. So.
It's a great opportunity for a business to get half of it paid for.
Well, I think it's a good idea. Anything to get people out there working and helping them.
Yeah.
And helping the businesses
Help the
because,
business.
because they're looking at their bottom line and they can save any money somewhere that'll help them hire people and get people.
We had a lot of new businesses for summer youth program too this year, so we're still working with some of them to see, if we get other youth coming in the full year program that are in their area that we can place them, or just other ways to get involved with more small businesses is what we're really
That's the
trying.
idea. I mean, we always are out there with the big businesses, but it's the little ones that we need to help them.
Yeah.
All right, any other comments or questions?
It's an excellent program.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, pass. Okay, and the last but not least, EP 10, does everybody have a copy of that? Okay, this is a resolution fixing time and place for a public hearing relative to the County of Oswego's intent to apply for an Environmental Protection Agency cleanup grant for the cleanup of the Tannery Pond site in the village of Cleveland. Motion?
Move it.
Second? And I know somebody that's near and dear to his heart. And Roy, would you like to give some explanation?
The first time I came to the county to talk about this property was before I was a legislator. And I had a resolution in my hand to try to remove it from the auction in 2013, which of course everybody looked at me like I had 14 eyes and was crazy, but the board had passed it like the night before to say we'll take this property. The property has since been through the auction 4 times. So this started my quest to say, hey, we need to look at properties and say what is the highest and best use of a particular property.
Mm-hmm.
This property is a little sliver that used to be a filling station years ago. There's gas tanks underneath it. It's right on a pond that empties into the lake, on a lake, and it's been deemed, as we've had the studies done, we got the money to do the studies. Now this is a chance to clean it up. The village won't take it in the state that it's in because the mayor is a former insurance person, and she's like, too much liability. We don't want this. We don't want to even drive to a park on it, even though it seems stable. So this would be the cleanup of this property, which then can either put it back on the tax rolls or actually make it a park in the village, which is right in the center of the village, right on the Tannery Ponds. It's sort of the center of the village forever.
Okay.
If I could just give a quick update too, because, so this came out of, obviously a lot of work that Legislator Reholt has done. I want to thank Karen in our planning office. She's put a lot of work into these sites like this. This came out of a previous grant that we had done. You probably remember it was a $500,000 phase 1, phase 2 grant program through EPA. And we were awarded that a couple of years ago. We've done an amazing job utilizing that for sites throughout the county. We do have a little bit of funds left, but not a ton. We have, in addition to this, we're applying with the assistance of CNS for a second round of that phase 1, phase 2 inspection money. So if there's other areas throughout the county that you know of that maybe are old gas stations or things like that, these are one of the really the best ways to get them at least do that initial investigation, that phase 1 cleanup, or phase 2 check, to see if that's going to be needed if someone's going to buy it anyway. So this is an awesome opportunity for that. We're applying for both of those grants this upcoming round. And again, I apologize for the late timing on this because of the way that the January and December meetings aligned. Without that meeting, we had to rush this in. It just opened last week, so this is brand new. But we have already assigned the work to CNS through an RFP that you folks approved last month. So they're going to be applying for both a second round of $500,000 inspection money as well as this $1 million cleanup money. All of it has no local costs. It's all federal funded. So we'll find out. And I will say that these cleanup ones are very competitive, as you can imagine. And so typically they are not awarded the first round. Typically it's usually the second round. But we really want to get in there just to at least start the process. So we've got all the information we need. CNS has done an amazing job. Karen in my office has done an amazing job. Rich has been very helpful. Obviously, Legislator Rehill has been pushing this, so it's encouraging to see this move forward.
12 years later.
Well, and just to follow up, the reason it's gone through the auction so many times is back in the beginning, that's when it was still 2 years, and people would buy them, like it sold in the auction once for $700, and then they found out there were tanks underneath it and they couldn't do anything to it, and they had this incredible liability and never paid any taxes. The mayor of the village actually came up to one of the auctions and spoke when it was going to go in the third time and said, here's why you don't want this property. There's, it's a brownfield. There's tanks under it, blah, blah, blah. He left. He thought he had done his job. The next day they continued the auction. This is while it was still a live auction, and it sold for $100. So, I mean, the time and effort that we put into this, when we know from long ago, we've been, that's why this is coming full circle. I really appreciate all the work that Tim and the staff has done to get it to this point. If we can get it cleaned up, it'd be great.
That's awesome. And Frank?
Two things. Was the land bank brought in on that at all? Roy? To look at it, to see?
Yeah, I talked to the land bank long ago about it. It's just, it's not, it's out of their bailiwick because it's a brownfield. What were they going to do? Would the land bank take it? The only reason the land bank would possibly take it would be to take it off of the treasurer's plate, which the treasurer probably would have been happy with. But, it's now it's hopefully, our problem to fix with help.
Second, when you brought that resolution forward, was that for the full legislative body or just the committee?
Oh, no, this was in front of I stood at the podium with the legislature. I gave them the resolution. I gave them a map.
Did anybody say that you can't?
You know how things go at the
well,
now I know how things work.
You stand up say you can't do that because we go through committees?
They had a special teasing you. Nobody
I had to get a little dig in at the end of the day.
But I actually have an answer for that. They had a meeting that day that I attended, but I wasn't allowed to speak at it. So
Well, you can't speak at committee meetings.
Correct.
Unless
So
of
there
course,
Unless
the
you're
chairman of the committee said that allows you to speak, because I was at one committee where, there were board members here, and one of the chairman of the committee said, well, I'm not allowing you to speak today.
It was a very contentious day.
Then again, another dig at you, Roy. I gotta get him in before we're done.
Ain't got much time left.
Like a
dime.
my last morning meeting, so.
It was a very contentious day. So mine was not the most contentious of them all, because there was a trailer park basically on the lake that everybody in the park had been paying made modifications to their trailers, and they had owned them. They paid their fees. The owner of the park did not pay any taxes, and they didn't know until it came right up to the 11th hour. So people were trying to keep these modifications that they made in this trailer park on the lake, and I think it still went sold at that tax office. But I actually don't recall. But that was much more contentious than mine. Mine was just a simple little piece of property that's got a brownfield on it that I thought, the village would take at the time, which would have been better, but you don't get to change things at the 11th hour is what I found out.
Austin?
I just want to add that I think that it's a great program. I can say in particular related to a couple sites, it's led to the first dollars in to help get studies done that then leads to further dollars. So like, for example, at the Nestle site in Fulton, this program was used to do a phase 1. Then the city of Fulton went and got funding from National Grid and Northern Borders to match to do phase 2 and do some cleanup related stuff. And we're potentially now looking at a major investment in that property that probably wouldn't have been possible without some of these original investments. So more on that when I talk, but
All right.
it's a great program.
Paul, did you have a comment?
Yeah. What exactly are those ponds?
So they're right in the center of the village. It's on Black Creek. They've been there since the first tannery was built by Apps Landing, just above by where the state dock is now.
All right. Now I get it. Yep.
And so that creek, if you go up the creek, there's a dam, and then there's a pond, and then there's a Bridge Street, and then there's another larger pond.
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So and I'm trying to get those. The pond.
You can't come from
dredged.
the east.
Pardon me?
You can't come from the east.
Right now, you can't come on Bridge Street.
Not without a paddle.
No, Bridge Street is closed for the time being because of a flood on Cold Spring Brook.
Marie?
Tim, this is a great program. This is the same program that was used on the site in Minetto, correct?
Yes, absolutely correct.
I mean, that's 900 feet of prime riverfront, extraordinary.
Yeah. It's a great program for us to have access to because there's really not a lot of help for those.
Is that in a phase 2, that program?
I can double check that. I know we looked into doing one. I can't remember for sure. I'll find out.
Can I find out?
Yeah,
after me?
absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, that is,
I think funding was approved for
I
it.
think so. I feel like it was. I just
Fine.
can't remember where we stand on it. I think we did.
Okay. Remember, this is simply setting a date for the public hearings.
And that's all we need for the
And that's
application.
it. That's all we need for the application is the public hearing. So we won't be voting on it or anything. This is simply setting a date. But it was interesting conversation.
History.
History. Well, we always like history. We don't want to repeat ourselves, so. Okay, any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, let's get right into our reporting department. Operation Oswego County updates.
Sure, I'll try to keep it brief today. Alluded to my comments earlier, Nestle site redevelopment. So I can talk more about this now. There's been a deal between the Common Council. They unanimously approved the sale of the remainder of the Nestle site to an entity called Indus Hospitality Group, which is a Rochester-based hotel and a retail developer. They've done great work across Western New York and Finger Lakes area. They are proposing a $50 million redevelopment of the Nestle site, which would include an 80-room Hampton Inn hotel, 10,000 square foot of new retail and eateries, and 80 units, and I'll underline this, of market rate housing on the site. So it's a great project. Obviously, there need to be some assistance and some help there at the state level, just because of some of the cleanup on the site and some other things to make that happen. But great developer, been working with them in the city for several months now and got over that major hurdle in terms of the purchase and sale agreement. So feel pretty good about that going forward. Other things I want to talk about more related to brownfield. So Oswego County has been asked to participate in what's called the Mohawk Valley Brownfield Summit. It's going to take place in April of 2026. We're not in the Mohawk Valley, but we're sort of friends. We share borders with them to the east, and actually I'm going to invite, as part of this, want to invite Tim and his staff to go to that, because a lot of what we're doing related to the phase 1, phase 2s is important. So at this summit, they invite different experts in the field, be it attorneys, engineers. They also invite a lot of developers who are interested and have experience in doing directly brownfield-related projects. So ones that have brownfield cleanup program credits and EPA grants and other things in them. So I think with some of the things that we're doing right now related to brownfield sites that are further along in terms of having been studied and have redevelopment plans, and then ones that we're kind of going through this process. It's a good way to sort of help market and promote some of the assets we have here in Oswego County related to brownfields.
Can I just add to that?
Yes.
And we're really connected because the canal goes through Oneida Lake.
Mhm.
And so there's lots of opportunities. They have developed along the east of us. You can get on a bike on a paved path all the way to Rome now. I think you can actually go all the way to Utica on a paved bike path next to the canal. So our opportunity is to connect that whole trail, that whole heritage, canal heritage corridor to us here on the North Shore. I think there's a lot of opportunities there.
And our peers in the Mohawk Valley have been really successful in utilizing some of the brownfield programs on brownfield sites. So one of the sites that they're going to highlight there is the redevelopment of the Remington Arms facility in Ilion, New York, and some of those. So we have some stuff to learn there, and also things to sort of help promote in terms of pushing some of our assets that we have. So happy to be part of that. Want to give, so there's I'm sure everyone's aware, but there was a setback with Novelis in terms of there was another fire recently 2 weeks ago on November 18th. We are in close connection with them in terms of working through how to work through the redevelopment, and because the fire was in not exactly the same exact location, but it damaged the same area that was already under renovation, and it was really unfortunate because they were set for reopening before the end of this year. This is going to push them back into Q1, to be determined when yet, but working with them to assist them with anything that they need, also connecting them with resources at the state and federal level to see what can be done. And really they're keeping their other lines open, their cold rolling, cash lines, and those things. But when you have an integrated plant like that, where one thing feeds another, which feeds another, which feeds another, it does impact their entire operations when you have the hot melt down. So they are currently bringing in material from all over the place to keep the other parts of the facility running, but it definitely is impacting things right now, and trying to help them get going and back in full production as soon as possible.
Well, two fires happening so close to each other. Is there, I'm hoping, some type of investigation?
Yeah, I mean, they originally had investigations on both. I mean, anytime you're going to have some sort of an insurance claim, you're going to have some significant investigations into it, especially when it's a project like this where we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of damage. I mean, they're spending between $100 and $200 million with the first fire to make improvements, and now they're going to have to spend some level of that again to do things. So there are definitely investigations underway internally with Novelis, as well as on the insurance side. And obviously I'm not privy to everything going on there, but I am aware that there's definitely investigations and looking into what took place to have another fire. Like I said, I'm not going to speculate on it. It's not my place to do it, but it's definitely underway, and they're looking into that. And I will say again, Novelis has cut back on overtime and other things like that, but still, to my knowledge, they haven't had any mass layoffs or anything related to what's going on out there. Other things wanted to report on, and this, I know I've reported on this in the past, but the Oswego County Microenterprise Grant that we are working on together with Oswego County, that was submitted last month. We are in process right now of answering some questions. So what happened with this is the state, this was originally due October 31st, and how the state normally does things, as you get close to the deadline, they kicked it out to December 31st. Well, we were still ready to submit, so we got it in. The good thing about that is we're actually able to improve and cure our application while it's still in this process, where other people who are going to wait till the last minute don't have that chance. So they've reached out to us with a couple questions. We're making some revisions on that and getting that back in, but so I feel very confident about that going forward, and been working with Tim and his team on that. And then the last thing I was going to report on is just working very closely with the county and some of the different department heads related to economic development, workforce development, and planning, related to nuclear advocacy, and really pushing at this point the being proactive about trying to attract a new nuclear to Oswego County. So I know I've talked about that before, but there is an RFI that's due on December 11th, And the county is working in collaboration with Constellation and other partners to put our best foot forward and have the best RFI to go in, and then which will follow that will be a more formal and more detailed proposal that'll be going out to communities as well as to developers and operators. So lots going on right now, but all good stuff.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for us? Okay, let's go right on to workforce development.
I'm just gonna continue about Oswego Build. So we had our graduation a couple weeks ago, and we had 9 individuals that completed the program. They earned their MC3 curriculum, which is endorsed by the unions, their OSHA 10, first aid CPR, which was provided by Oswego County Fire, their work keys, National Career Readiness credential. They were paid for all of their time within there, and we're able to build the whole shed from top to bottom out at Camp Hollis. So we had a great turnout with all 9 participants at the graduation, their families, and we had 5 different unions represented there. So they are all now in the process of applying to the unions. We did have one individual who had welding certification prior to the program that is working at EJUSA in Phoenix already. So now we are in the process of recruiting for our next cohort for Build, which is starting in January. We currently have 13 applications, and we are accepting them until about December 16th, 17th. I think the 17th we are going out to DSS to do some presentations, information sessions about it out there. So then we can start interviews for the next cohort. And still waiting to hear on grant applications for the Northern Borders Regional Commission and also from the Office of Strategic Workforce Development with State to fund cohorts 3, 4, and 5 over the next year and a half after this upcoming cohort. I have been in contact with New York State since I've submitted the application, so that one's sounding pretty promising to come through.
How many can you take?
We're budgeted up to 15. And we're looking this time, so this cohort we held it at the Plumber Steam Fitters training facility here in Oswego. It was a little difficult sometimes with transportation, so I think we're going to hold the classes right at our career center for this next cohort. And then figure out with the build what we do. We might do the actual build piece.
So did your last cohort start with 15 as well?
No, we started with 10. We lost
Okay,
one.
so you only lost 1.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
And you're already up to 13.
We're up to 13 applications already, yes. And we make sure when we're interviewing them, going through their applications, that they would qualify to enter a union job, an apprenticeship at the end of it. So we have union representatives that do the interviews with us as well. Yep. So really promising going forward to that, and kind of staying on the trades part of it. I actually have a meeting right after this with the chamber and BOCES. We have presented to the superintendents countywide about setting up trade signing days for our seniors. So it's not just our athletes that are getting all this promotion signing days for when they graduate. Give some to the kids that are going into the trades.
Excellent.
I know Sarah Broadwell had presented it here in Oswego, and the superintendent here said he would bring it to his countywide meeting, and everyone was unanimously in support of it. So we're going to pull that together apparently in the next couple of months and see how that goes.
Well, it's nice when at the graduation, they always say where the kids are going, and that they've always been accepted at this college or that. Be nice to have it talking about where these kids are going, trades and stuff like that. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Little recognition right up there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of high schools. So I was at a meeting 2 weeks ago. I was invited in for work-based learning professionals that are at each of the high schools, which they don't all have them. There was a mix of work-based learning, which are typically a business teacher that has now transitioned into a career center at the high schools, or it's guidance counselors, or there was an assistant superintendent there. But really trying to bring it all together now that New York State is recognizing work-based learning for credit for high schoolers, and how we can interact with them more, get get them in touch more for internships and job shadowing with businesses so that everyone's not going after just the big guys around the county and whatnot. So we had one meeting, we're meeting again at the beginning of January, but it's a whole different world for me sitting with all the educators in the high schools in the room. It's a little different group, but I think it'll be good. I've already been invited to go to Hannibal and present on work keys.
There's a school in Hannibal?
It's a great school too, three of them.
They're doing a lot of good things.
Debatable.
So I'll be going out there hopefully soon. And the only other thing I have, the Advanced to Apprenticeship, pre-apprenticeship manufacturing program that we're working with MACNY and Hebrew Community College. That is finishing up in the next 2 weeks with 14 individuals that will earn a entry into manufacturing certification. They are getting to interview with a lot of local manufacturers to go into their either entry-level employment or apprenticeship programs that they have with MACNY. They are testing this week to earn their National Career Readiness credentials as well. And by completing, they earn incentives. They get $250 gift card for completing the program, another $250 for earning their manufacturing certification, and then if they bring in a copy of a pay stub of their employment with the manufacturer, they get $750.
Nice incentive.
For a total of $1,250.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's super.
that is.
We'll get them started.
The enhancing our work with BOCES, I think, is so important, really incredible. Having the kids in all of our high schools take work keys, as many as possible. I know the P-TECH program, kids all take it.
Yep.
And when they kill it on that. They take it to a business and say, here it is. Then it's starting to get the traction that we need.
Companies are looking for it now.
They recognize it now, and it can tell the student themselves that, hey, maybe you thought you were going to be cut out for this, but look at how you excel in this.
Yeah.
So I think those cooperation with BOCES is really important for the future. I don't know if it was Tim. You said something about having these kids plan for success, getting to their graduation with motivation to be into the next thing, regardless of whether that's, how many more kids can go to a liberal arts, or not know what I want when I go to college, when in fact they can go with real specific plans, and that working these cooperative efforts with workforce, I think, are tremendous. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any other questions for Rachel? Austin?
Not a question, just a comment. I think there's been a lot of sort of deliberate, thoughtful things that Oswego County has done related to being pro-manufacturing, pro-blue-collar workforce and things. So being the first in New York and the Northeast to be the first ACT Work Ready certified county. The new work being done to sort of to acknowledge and recognize kids that are going into more of the trades or blue-collar workforce. I think that I'm kind of looking at this big picture of sort of the branding of Oswego County as, we have, there's New York has the pro housing communities. I mean, I want to be like, brand Oswego County as pro manufacturing, pro blue collar workforce, and that be part of our branding and sort of hit all the reasons we're doing that, because that's important when you're trying to bring in manufacturers, or when you're trying to, when people are looking at places to live and they want to have, so it's just something I'm just thinking of what we can do to sort of collaborate on that to sell us. We're putting all these things together. How do we connect all the tissues to tell that story in a big vision kind of way?
Work ready community.
Right.
Yeah. Frank?
I just comment, when you're with just remember that only about 1% of that audience knows more than you. Keep that in mind. Don't be intimidated by. I go in front of them a lot. So, okay, so you know more than they even think about knowing. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to go back on what Austin was saying, is that I think people in general are starting to more and more recognize the importance of trades. I really think it has come up, and I think it's very good that we're stepping out front and saying, this is where we're at. We have it, we are ready for manufacturing, because between all of the debts that kids are getting into with college, and then all of a sudden, what am I going to do? I get a degree in English, and where I got a job, versus I go get a trade. I've got money, I've got a job, I've got a future. And it's great for us to be out front, saying that we're ready for this manufacturing, and trades is no longer the second.
Just on my drive here this morning, I passed 3 places that had signs in the window or on the big thing saying, operators needed, fabricators needed, and there's a huge need. I mean, there's not enough people who are going in that are retiring out.
Yeah.
And so we need to. It's better to be on the front edge of this than be on the back end of it. And sort of having Oswego County lead the way in terms of doing it. So
That's great. Paul?
So I just have a comment. The BOCES buses go by my house every day. And I noticed over the years, when I went there, we used to pack 2 buses. And then they went to 3 buses. Well, then within the last 5 or 6 years, when I really started to notice the buses going by, there was 2 and they weren't even half full. Now there's 3 buses and they're packed every morning going by the house.
Going up.
It's going up.
Pendulum is swinging.
They have wait lists out there now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yep. We did, I'll put it out there because actually we have a save the date out there right now, but we are partnering with BOCES and putting together a job fair specifically for high school seniors in the end of May. And I can't right now remember exactly what the date is. But specifically for high school seniors, and we are only inviting businesses that have current openings that those students could step into upon their graduation the month after. So it's specifically for them to have something lined up.
Excellent. It's not just lip service. This is the job.
Yeah.
Okay, any other comments for Rachel? Hearing none, let's go right into promotion and tourism.
All right, great. Just a couple ones. Obviously, it's an exciting time for Oswego County. We have fishing season. I don't want to say it's winding down, but definitely the height of salmon season has gone through. Still a lot of beautiful trout in both the Oswego River and Salmon River, and still some good fishing on Night Lake. So we are still kind of promoting the fishing piece of it. Kind of in line with that, you all should have it in front of you, but we have updated our Oswego County Fishing and Hunting Guide. As you know, this was award-winning. A couple of years ago, we did win an award for the information in here, but also the way it's put together. So I really want to give the staff in our tourism office a lot of credit. They put a lot into this. Updated pictures, updated information in here as well. But feel free to look it through. If you have any questions or thoughts, recommendations, let us know. We do about just under 100,000 of these are produced. We've gotten, I think, pretty good at figuring out how many we need to make in time for the next update. So we don't end up with bunches, boxes, cases of them left over. We also don't run out too quickly. But in order to save some money, you want to do one printing if you can. So we've got a good process for that. We also have our, I don't know if you're on Facebook or other social media, but we have our Ozzy. He is the alpha around Oswego County. We kind of use him to promote local seasonal businesses, some of the work that we do with the county. And so keep an eye out on Facebook and others for Ozzy. He's been going all across the county. We take pictures, do stories with the folks who he's just a little, out on the shelf looking guy. But
He has a badge.
yes,
That's very important.
he does have a badge. He's allowed to build it.
They made him a badge.
Yep. So he's currently doing meetings with like OFA, Office of Aging, Mobility Management. So if there's other departments that are interested in highlighting something that they're doing this season, we can do that. We also have him kind of go to some of our seasonal, Christmas tree farms and things like that. So if you have anybody in your community that you think would like to have Ozzy come out, let Jen Longley in our tourism office know. You can just get that.
The over 21.
It's a little questionable the way the age works on North Pole, I gotta be honest with you.
Well, I'm just
So
wondering, we got the lock down there that's really a nice lock
it's
one.
a good question.
Yeah.
Well, ideal. He's got a badge.
Okay.
Also, just a couple of real quick things. We got a lot of Sportsman Expos scheduled at New York's Fairgrounds coming up in January. So if you're interested in checking that out, we'll be out there as well. So that's kind of tourism update. Any update or questions for tourism?
Okay,
Jump over to
go right into planning.
planning. Okay. Couple just again real short updates. Comprehensive plan is moving along great. We had our in-person steering committee meeting this previous month where we have really great attendance. People are really interested, and it's encouraging to see, as we keep saying, plan every plan. our communities are realizing that, and they've been very active. We had a meeting this month in Albion, talked to them about their comprehensive plan. So the town is moving forward. Mexico is very, very active, so we're really starting to see a lot going on there. A couple other last kind of updates on that. The short-term registry, short-term rental registry we've been talking about should be going live January 1st. That's our expectation. There's a little bit of computery stuff we're working through on that, but we do expect that that is live January 1st. And we'll have a little bit of a staggered rollout. I don't think we'll hold people too accountable too quickly, but we'd like to make sure that that gets out there and people start registering. So that's the first step before we can actually start collecting the taxes. The plan is going to be, thanks to our IT staff and our treasurer's office, instead of creating a whole new system for it, we originally were going to have people come to the clerk's office, bring their money in, pay their check, write everything down. We're going to be using the software that the treasurer's office uses for the hotels to log in. It makes sense. There'll be a new drop down. It'll be short-term rental. You can pay online. It makes things a lot easier for people to not have to come in here. So I think that's going to be beneficial. We estimate there's about 600 short-term rentals in Oswego County. Making them all come into the clerk's office seems like it's going to be a little bit of work. So I think we're going to do it.
Right.
Refresh us as to what is included in the short-term rentals.
So the legislature passed a law a few months ago requiring that anyone who owns or operates a short-term rental, so essentially a room, 2 rooms, I mean the language is pretty specific. It's not going to be long terms. I believe it's 30 days. I can double check that, but it's going to be someone who operates a room for profit, typically utilizing Airbnb or Vrbo. I think 95% of the ones in our county use one of those 2. So that's what we expect to be most of them. We are working with them. I'll be honest, they've been a little difficult, both Vrbo and Airbnb. They are not looking forward to this program. They actually have tried to get the counties to opt out of it. But across the state, we realized it makes sense to have it. The county will be sharing that information with the towns and villages. There's been a lot of questions about where are these folks and how do we know about it. Some of them do take additional resources. We want to know they're there. Local communities will still have their own, obviously, enforcement, but this will be a registry that is mandated. It will be the law that you sign up for it. Now, it's a $50 biannual fee, so it's not a huge expense, but it will be a registry that we keep at the county level.
Tim, what was this? Originally, I recommended that they buy a permit, and it was kind of self-monitor. Is that?
Yes, that's almost exactly what this is. This is going to be our accountability structure. So once we do the short-term rental, once they start paying the tax like hotels do, the bed tax.
We hired somebody also to oversee this, correct?
We're going to be doing it staffed within my office currently. There will be no new hires for it.
Did you hire somebody in the treasurer's office regarding the Airbnbs part-time or?
No, there was position, I think, that oversaw the hotel collection, but we have not started collecting anything on short-term rentals yet. And we don't anticipate hiring anybody.
They just have a required permit for fire reasons. They would adhere to it.
Are you saying for the hotels or just for the short-term rentals?
For the short-term rentals. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, well, so there will be there's local oversight, there are the local requirements, and everyone who signs up for this will be required to certify that they are satisfying their local requirements. That could put them in violation if they do so. And there's a penalty from the law. We don't anticipate going out to the houses or anything like that. They're going to certify it under perjury that they did.
But somebody was hired, right? For this.
No.
For hotel then? Was it for hotel oversight?
There is some admin fees that come out of short-term or out of hotel bed tax that the treasurer's office does get for enforcement. So I could see them utilizing their staff for that.
Yeah.
But we're not hiring anybody new for this. It'll be done in the office. Again, we expect January 1st. There could be some technological things that push it back a little bit. We're hoping to have it live January 1st.
Right.
So will you have some sort of an info sheet about this that could be handed out to the towns or whatever?
Yes, absolutely. And once it goes live, we will be communicating. We have let most of them know that this is coming. We've had a lot of people asking, as you can imagine. But no, we will have some sort of informational piece. Will probably come out directly from me to the town board.
Fire departments as well.
Yeah, I think we were planning on going through the attorney at the communities because they kind of touch all of those locations. But it'll be available. Maybe we can make it. We can either put it out as a piece of information to our boards, or we can put it on the website too. I think there's other things. We'll leave it at that for today. If any questions, let me know.
Okay, well, right along with that, why don't we go right into, Mark?
Thank you. Infrastructure projects include water and sewer rely heavily on grant applications, grant funding. As most know, this process involves hurry up and wait. And we're now entering the waiting period to see how we've done with on this grant app. But during this time, we haven't stopped. We continue to prepare for future grant opportunities. Since the last report, we met with all potential state funding agencies at the same time. It included over 30 individuals from the Senator's office, Assembly's office, the Governor's office, DEC region, a lot of people in there to talk about this project and funding. The SOPS project was very well received. It was recognized and supported as a transformational initiative, essential not only for the Micron project, Micron-related development, but also broader future growth in Oswego County. The project's environmental benefits were strongly acknowledged, including the protection of Oneida Lake aquifers, groundwater, and public health. Additionally, an estimated $400 million in economic savings could be realized by implementing a single shared sewer system solution rather than constructing numerous individual local plants. Further annual savings would result from shared operations, staffing, and inventory. That said, there is still much to plan and prepare for. The future of public water and sewer in Oswego counties is strong, and many new potential projects have emerged from the ongoing assessment of local water and sewer assets and needs. Several municipalities require support, and opportunities exist for county ownership and consolidation of local infrastructure. Also, to go along with that, I handed out a pamphlet, and I just wanted to touch on a couple of things that came out of the meeting with that we had with the funding partners. And essentially, the project's $126 million. But if you did separate projects, you're looking to spend $400 million more to do separate projects for each municipality. Which was well received with the group we spoke with. And we're hoping that maybe somewhere down the road, like Onondaga County did, we can get some budget money in April. And that's what we're shooting for, and it was well received that way. This project, when built out, has the potential of increasing developable acreage by 330,000 acres. 11,000 acres for residential development, which has equals $2.2 billion in capital investment. 800 acres ideal for industrial development, $2.4 billion, and over 4,300 new jobs. 1,200 acres ideal for light industry development for $1.9 billion capital investment and 3,900 new jobs. For total investment, capital investment in the private sector of $6.5 billion. I'd like to thank Austin and his staff. They were very instrumental with helping us put together some of this. There's more in here, but I just wanted to touch on the main economic part. We talked about environmental quite a bit over the past months, but now we have some dollars and cents information that we've shared with the funding partners.
When do you think we'll hear back about the funding? You know, what has been accepted? Anybody want to, join in their money?
We've broken it out. We have an IMG grant, WQIP grant, that we've applied for. That's probably the end of this year, beginning of next year. We probably start hearing something.
Okay.
But I think the major thing here is, and it was very well received by the funding partners during that meeting, the biggest portion will come from a budget item in the state budget. They've done it before. They gave Sylvan Beach $100 million. They gave Aqua $112 million. So, and we're asking for $66 million.
It's just 66 again.
Just business, but everybody does see the benefit economically and environmentally for the street.
Well, and.
Well, I think the other point, and just to what Mark said, is that if this was to be done individually, it's not like there wouldn't be requests to the state. You would have Town of Constantia making a request, Town of West Monroe making a request, Town of Hastings, you'd have all these little entities that are probably going to be asking for more money combined than what this is, and they would get it because, a lot of these communities will get that funding eventually. So from the state's perspective, it's actually a wiser investment to make this than to go ahead and try to do that. And as we know, with a lot of these existing plants and all these communities, they cannot sustain these plants. The little villages like the Village of Parrish and Phoenix and all these places, they just don't have the manpower or the tax base to support these plants when they need to have a massive investment made into them. And so unless it's 95 cents on the dollar from somebody else, it just doesn't happen.
Well,
I had a quick question. I just was looking for some clarification on this Oswego County loan portion. My
Yes,
understanding was it wasn't gonna cost the county anything in the end. Was this loan gonna be reimbursed by funding also?
no, it would not cost the county anything. The loan would be paid back by the users of the district.
Okay, yeah, later.
So it would be separate from that. But you're not gonna get it funded 100%. You have to have some skin in the game for the state to step in and help out too.
and this is only the users actually.
Only
pay
the
this. This is
users
people
with-
that aren't using it, they're not gonna be charged
Correct.
throughout the county.
Correct.
And that's a big thing right there, because a lot of people I don't want to have to pay for somebody else's sewer. Nope.
Exactly.
And we've done the numbers and with the $20 million loan aspect of it, which would be taken on by the district, it could pay it back. So that's where we're feasible to move forward with the project.
Okay.
Right. Mark, can you share with us at least the top 2 pages or the whole thing as a PDF? Via
Oh,
email?
yes, absolutely, yes.
Okay, just so we have the impacts, I think, are really consequential to be able to tell people.
And I will say from the economic impact side, our office did an economic impact analysis. We also ran it through Barton LaJudas with Dustin Clark, and they were like, yeah, the numbers make sense. So we're not just throwing big numbers at a wall trying to wow people. This has significant opportunity to transform southern Oswego County.
And that's where we're starting, because that's where the project is. But that's a start for the whole county. We have plans to go up to the Village of Parrish that has problems, go through the Town of Hastings, head up north. We're gonna go wherever the municipalities need us and want us to go. We're not gonna force our way into communities. Okay, we wanna work as partners to solve problems that the local municipalities need help with.
Anybody other questions or comments? Great. All right, let's move right into mobility management.
Good morning.
No.
So I wanted to give you guys some annual numbers since this is the last.
Last of 2025.
So Rachel and I work very closely together, as you know, with employment transportation and education transportation. So we ran through our worksheet and calculated how many people called our office that needed help with either employment or education. So we had 384 unique individuals fill out our transit inquiry form and work with either myself, Kristen, or Helen to say, I need to get to work or I need to get to school. And one of us sat down with them or over the phone and said, this is how you're going to get there. This is your personalized bus itinerary schedule. You can either access, you're required to book your own trips, or hey, you're under shift work. So that's 384 people that have come to us to have help with employment transportation that received it. We received 26 testimonials for the year, so we do keep those on file. If you guys want them, I can send them to you to read. And then 9 people said that when we finish the program, because we only assist with direct transport for 6 months, if they were in that category for shift work, 9 of those people said that they were able to purchase vehicles. With the support.
That's what we want to see.
Yes. With that, we've been talking a lot about the trades and working with schools and students. And Rachel and I had requests come from City BOCES. They said there's a need in the community. We're really struggling with some of our internships, and it's like that over at SUNY, and I know some of the internship programs that we have as well, but we want to make sure that unpaid interns have a way to get to their internship and back. We know that paid interns can use a portion of their paycheck to help pay for gas, but a lot of times unpaid interns, they don't have income, or their internship takes a lot of time, so they don't have kind of their job, or they're finishing that for their requirement at school. So we don't have all the details of this yet, but Rachel and I are working together to create a program called Fueling the Futures, which will allow us to give gas cards to students that
Fueling Futures and all that.
That's cool.
right? It's all about the name. So once we have an official program details and flyers, we'll bring that back to everybody to see, but we're going to be working together on that over the next few months. I provided, these are really small, so I'll make sure I can use bigger next time, but I want to pull out reports from our access service so you guys can see some of the numbers and some of the data. The first page is ride rating. So every time somebody completes a trip, they're allowed to rate the ride 1 to 5 stars and leave a comment. So 93%, this is from September 23rd to current, so since we started the app. There's been an average of 4.8 star rating, so 93% of the ratings that come in have been 5 stars with the service, which has been great. The second page is some operational statistics. This is extremely important data that we will be probably using for future contracting. But we can see exactly, I highlighted a couple numbers on here, but the 14,824 is how many completed trips have been done since September 23rd. That's how many single-way trips have been done, which is it's a 58% conversion. We typically say in the transit world anything over 30% is very good, but I still don't like 58%. It means that people are canceling their trips or they're no-showing the bus. So we've been working on instituting no-show penalties. We do have a suspension feature in the app where if riders no-show continuously, we can suspend them for a certain period of time. And not allow them to use it for X amount of days during the suspension.
And you need to have discipline. Or
Yes. Yeah, so we will be using that feature in instituting those policies. Our last page is talking about the wait time. So there's a statistic here that says when somebody opens up the app and they request the bus on demand, which means they did not pre-schedule a trip, they just said, I'm stuck, I need it. The average wait time for that when it's been available and open is 15 minutes from when they request it, which is, it's really high and unexpected. Not high like a long wait time, but it's very interesting. There's a statistic here that is definitely something that we need to work on with the vendor, and that's on-time performance. We've never been able to see this in the past, and now we have full visibility to see if they're dropping and picking people up on time. I can see that the trips since September, that 79.7% of them have been picked up on time and 74.6% have been dropped off on time. These are very interesting measures, and so Tim and I were talking in Roy that when we do this contract next year, because this particular contract is up for bid next year, is we should institute some policies and parameters on performance so that we can increase the efficiency and hold the vendor accountable for the service that they provide.
Information is power.
Yep.
We didn't know it before, so.
Yeah. We do audit, so that's what this is. We audit the buses quarterly, so this is our quarterly audit that we did. It's a random ride-along. The vendor doesn't know when we do this. We schedule a trip just like any other consumer, and we ride the bus incognito. We try to, bus incognito. But yes, so it's a 2-leg trip, a round trip. Kristen has her notes on here if you'd like to see. But we do audit for ADA compliance, making sure that the drivers have the appropriate brochures on board, that they're making full stops, that they're on time. So it is good that we do this every quarter, and it's also great for audit season.
Secret chat.
I'm almost done. So we are doing the community bus rides, one in Fulton and one in Salcedo, very similar to the New York State Fair shuttles, not as intense. We do require pre-registration, and we are going to be having Ozzy come down to the bus garage today to take photos with the holiday buses to promote the service with tourism.
That's a favorite
Musician.
Ozzy Osbourne.
You went to New England as well.
Still alive. R.I.P. Ozzy.
Still alive.
R.I.P. Ozzy.
All right.
The last of the statistics is we wanted to let you guys know about outreach. So with the presentations, info sessions, and tabling events, we did 58 of those events this year. So that's about 5 a month that we were out there presenting or going to senior facilities. We did 11 open to public shuttle services, and the list is there so you can see those 11. And then there were 16 senior group trips that we helped coordinate. These are not trips that we do with our buses, but they are trips that we can help coordinate with vendors that are able to do those ones. And so 16 of those trips were done as well. And then lastly, I just put in here a summary of the board meetings. So I do attend Central board meetings. This is a summary of the meeting that happened 2 weeks ago. I did highlight one interesting thing that I brought back from that meeting, and it's that we did pass a resolution to authorize Centro to purchase a fleet of minivans for transportation, which is interesting for a regional authority to do. The reason why they're purchasing a fleet of minivans is because Centro has launched a program that is very similar to our access service. It's called MOVE, and they launched a pilot up in Rome. So they are operating basically the same demand response service that we are. They asked for our how we did it and our zoning. So we gave them the zones back when we had fares in different zones, and so that's the model that they're using up in Rome. So now they will have minivans. I also wanted to share that I had a call yesterday with Ross Dewberry over at New York State DOT. We had sent in a request for a STOA waiver for us to be able to use 8 to 14 passenger vehicles, and they granted our waiver request yesterday.
Finally. Oh my gosh, how many years have we been trying to get that smaller bus?
15.
Long time.
So we can also use, and I thought of the fact that we were awarded smaller vehicles in our FDA grant. Central purchased these minivans. We used all of that, and they said, okay.
Okay. Excellent. That's the best news. Bill, you said you had a comment?
Yeah. This particular committee seems to be blessed with talented managers who keep being recognized by the community for their good work. A few months ago, it was Rachel receiving awards, and now this year, the Rural Health Network of Oswego County has recognized Heather Snow for her work and named her a Rural Health Champion for 2025.
All right.
And this is what they said and why. Heather Snow has reshaped transportation access for rural residents across Oswego County through programs such as Access, ETA, and Call-a-Bus. Her leadership ensures that residents can reliably get to medical appointments, jobs, school, essential services, and community resources, a barrier that has long limited health access in rural areas. Known for her compassion, solution-focused mindset, and deep commitment to equity, Snow is described as someone who goes over and beyond to help everyone she comes in contact with. Her work has opened countless doors for individuals who once felt restricted by geography, income, or circumstance. So congratulations.
Nice.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Frank.
I want to take it back. I gave you accolades at the public hearing.
Parent-teacher conference that day.
All right, well, it's okay. I mean, I have issues, and I told them I have issues with Central. They know that I'm not a favorite. But in the meeting, okay, they spoke about that maybe, we would pick up some of the routes that they're dropping. But my issue was 2 things. One was, if you get on the bus at Towpath Tower and go their route, okay, to go back, it's 80 minutes. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't really care to be sitting on a bus for 80 minutes.
Didn't you use a dark bus?
Yeah.
He knows very well.
The kids didn't want to be on the bus any longer than an 80-year-old person sitting on the bus leaving from Towpath Towers. So I wasn't really pleased with that. But he did say that, we would be picking up some of their issues that they were dropping.
So we definitely cannot, because we cannot impede on Central's territory. So the DOT has regulations that say we cannot duplicate services. So I can't go in there and put a fixed route where Central services that area. Their call bus can pick up areas for clients that are 3/4 of a mile radius. But outside of that, like their 80-minute interval is, I don't want to say it's an improvement, but it was a 160-minute interval before, so they did cut it in half.
But what about the areas that they were removing their?
If Centro doesn't, so Centro mainly services Fulton, Mexico, and Oswego. They have 5 fixed route services that they run, and then they have their call bus, which can service 3/4 of a mile anywhere around the radius of their entire fixed route. So if they say, hey, we have a client that has a disability, they can't get to the bus stop, that smaller bus is deployed to go pick them up directly. The fixed route change is happening because they want to have more frequency between the senior facility in Walmart and the college in Walmart, which is what the system is. It has less stops in between and they get a more frequent stop so that they're not sitting on the bus the entire way all the way up and having to come back with the students.
So either way, they lied to them.
I think that there's certain
They didn't tell us the whole
members
story.
that don't understand. Like, I feel like this community it's very unique because we have 2 public transit providers. Centro is not used to operating next to a secondary provider. So our system is supposed to feed into their system to help get people there so that they can move people regionally. That's been our goal the entire time. But it's never been for us to say, Centro's not doing it, we're going to go pick up the slack over there. It's supposed to encourage people to connect to their system. So I'd like to talk to Steve more about that to see exactly what he means by that.
I mean, I explained at the meeting, I said, for any reason people have not to go to work or something like that, they'll find a reason. Well, you don't come down by, where I get on the bus, where I used to get on the bus to go to work. Well, guess what? I'm not going to go to work.
We will
and
do
what
a,
do they
we
do?
will
They
do a
put
first mile.
more burden on our public assistants. Okay, and we can't have that. And that's why I said you can't be cutting these routes out because people use them for a reason, to get to work and get home from work.
Yeah, so they're not cutting, the symbolization of the system is to make it easier for riders. And they've done this system change up in Rome, and it completely changed their ridership. They tripled their ridership up there because they enhanced it. So these additional routes, like we have, for example, OSW 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D, instead of just having the OSW route, and it splits into all these miniature 6, 7, 8 different types of routes. And so when that happens, you have seniors and people that just say, I'm not going to ride it because I can't read this bus schedule. It doesn't make any sense to me. This is just symbolizing. It's making it simpler for people to be able to understand, but it's not cutting service.
Well, it's just, one, they cut out the, from any city to go to Winter College.
They're still going to the college.
From going up to Mexico, no, but they're not going from the city.
Directly.
They said. Right, so if I want to get on if I want to go to Community College and I live on Oneida Street, I got to go to, up into Mexico and then come back around.
Not that far.
Well, but all I'm saying is, in this day and age, okay, everybody's looking for a reason why. Why not?
We gotta toughen them up, Frank. They're getting to be too,
You
walk,
gotta start-
anything on the carriage, you got. Exactly. Well, what did they say? The TV station used to have to tell people, do you know where your kids are? 10 o'clock,
Well, you gotta start at the federal level with your education then, because that's where you started with.
You're right. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. A motion to adjourn. Second, got it, thank
All
you.
right.
I get-
Last meeting of the year.